Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare-rama, Hare-rama, Rama-rama, Hare-hare, Hare-Krishna,
Krishna
Tattva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Come more close.
Hare Krišna, dragi bakte, Hare Krišna, spoštovani gostje. Čeprav je tak lep, krasen, sončen dan, ste naredili edino pravo odločitev, da ste danes prišli sem na nedeljski program, ki bo danes še posebej poseben. Kot vidite, skoraj nimamo kam stopiti. Najprej bi se zahvalili za čudovite bhažane Hare Krišna Prabhuju in njegovemu bratu Nimaju. Pomagali sta še Sarasvati in Špela, hvala lepa. Sicer je pa danes z nami poseben gost, njegova milost Sacinandana swami. Z njim smo že preživeli zale 3 čudovite dni na Pohorju, poseben retreat smo imeli, duhovni umik. Danes pa bo imel za vse nas predavanje z naslovom Notranji Arjuna. Zdaj, predno še povem vse v angleščini, bi rada samo rekla, da bo prevod danes v hrvaški jezik. A ima kdo težave s tem? Tisti, ki ne razumete angleško, je hrvaščina v redu, da nimamo 2 prevodov, ker je veliko gostov iz Hrvaške. Če je kje prostora, dajte tam, da se še malo pomakniti naprej, ker bojo še gostje prihajali, tako da ni nič praznega vmes, tako se premaknimo, da ne bojo eni pri vratih stali, ker že zelo stojijo. No? Okay. And now in English. Welcome, dear guests, welcome devotees to this special Sunday Feast program. We are very happy that you came in such a large number from many countries. First, I thank before for the wonderful bhajan by Hare Krišna Prabhu and his brother Nimai, and Sarasvati and Špela also helped, so thank you. And today we have a special guest, His Holiness Sacinandana Swami. Arrivo! We are very, very happy and grateful that he visited us after 1 year. Many of us spent 3 wonderful days with him on Pohorje on a spiritual retreat. And today he will give for us a lecture with the title Inner Arjuna. If you have some place around you, you can come a little closer because I know that more devotees will come. And this is all from me now. Hare Krishna.
Mm-hmm. May I just ask, the AC takes care also of bringing the air into the room. Is it true, or should we just open the window for a moment?
Yeah, we can open the window.
Yeah.
AC should take care of it,
Yeah.
Malo odprimo okna za par minut.
Ja.
Za par minut sem potem lahko na široko, tam kjer se da, potem bomo pa nazaj zaprli. Aha, vse so že. Za par minut odprimo okna, za 2 minutki, potem bomo pa nazaj zaprli, pa bo prezračevanje poskrbelo, samo da je malo svežega zraka. Hvala, Hare Krišna.
Is it bringing fresh air in? Air conditioning, yeah? Wow. Dhananjaya is our expert, so we leave the windows closed. Let us close the window because fresh water, fresh air is coming in. Yeah. Okay.
Another request, those who sit on 2 cushions, please give to those, because there are many without cushions. It's only meant 1 cushion per person. Tisti, ki sedite na 2 blazinah, dajte prosim še drugim, ker imamo veliko ljudi, ki je brez blazin. Hvala. Krishna. Now we are ready. Zdaj pa se dajmo umiriti, pa prisluhnimo predavanju. Hvala.
Krishna, so for Indian circumstances, this is extremely cool, very cool. in Vrindavan, I'm very serious. It's impossible for us Westerners to go out at this time of the day. It's just you can't think. It's so hot you stop thinking. When it's too cold you stop thinking, but also when it's too hot, you just it stops. You can just say hello. That's all. So hot. Good. So I'm very happy, like always, to sit in this overcrowded room. And I thought I had actually prepared for this. I want to ask. I have decided to ask another question. The lecture will be, I think, quite interesting for you. So let us just sing Jaya Radha Madhava, and then we will continue. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Yasodanandana Rajadhana Rangana Yasodanandana Rajadhana Rangana Yasodanandana Rajadhana Rangana Yasodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, So, Hare Krishna. I originally wanted to describe today in my Sunday feast the outer journey of Arjuna, who was a prince, and also his inner journey, how he was fighting his doubts on his path, how he eventually came to submit himself to Krishna. But I decided, it's so hot today. And if it's too difficult and too many points, the brain will also be... This time in our life, we become confronted with a higher plan, a better plan, a greater opportunity. And then it is always a question of whether we will stay or in our old circumstances, or whether we are bold enough and trusting enough to move the next step forward. I believe in everyone who's today here. It should not be so difficult to identify one step in your life which you feel you should be doing, but which you are at the moment a little afraid to take. Can you think of something? It's too hot for the thinking, or for thinking. I know, for instance, some of us think, maybe I should get initiated. But we are a little bit, I'm not sure if what if I do it and there will be no help? I know that some of us feel, I'm now old, elderly. I don't think I should stay all the time in South Europe. That's my polite term for the Balkan regions. Perhaps I should travel and to a holy place in India, like Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan. Or maybe there's someone of you who likes to smoke cigarettes and you feel it's not good, and I know it's not so. In spiritual life, no one smokes, only some yogis in the Himalayas. But I'm not of that category. But you think, when I give this up, or another may think, yes, I know, it would be good to become a vegan. I'm already vegetarian, but I know it would be good because then the cows would not have to suffer so much, or I would not be an instrument to let the cows suffer. And we feel, maybe I should do this step, but what if I miss the cheese too much? There is no good alternative for cheese in the vegan diet. Or someone will think, I know Krishna wants me to do this. I feel there's so many signs and so many indications. And I know what is right, but I'm a little bit afraid to move forward too fast. What if I jump and no one is there to catch me? Let me tell you about my grandfather's trauma. My grandfather had a traumatic condition. He was in Bremen he was working there, and he was living high in an apartment under the roof when the house in which he lived caught fire. The fire quickly spread and went into the staircase of the house, so he could not go down by the staircase. He was trapped under the roof. So some of the neighbors had seen this, and they had come and they brought some cloth and they were holding it, 6 people around a big bed sheet, and they said, I don't know, jump. So my grandfather is about double as high as from here to the ceiling. He's really high. He was very high. So, but he said, but you are weak. I'm very big, I'm like a giant and you are like dwarfs. No problem. We are, they were leaning in like this. So my grandfather decided, okay, let me jump. And he jumped and he broke his neck. Not neck, his back. They couldn't hold him, he was too heavy, like he had prophesied. So I think, so he always said to me, don't do any steps in life where you don't know if you will be caught. And I remember when I came to him and said, Grandfather, I feel called to the path of the monk. I want to become a monk. The grandfather said, well, you will have no education, you have no money. What if you jump like I did when I lived in Bremen, and there's no one and nothing there to hold you? And I said, Grandfather, when I surrender to Krishna, Krishna to hold me. When he heard me saying this, he started to laugh. That's what we thought in the First World War. That's what all the religious people, if they surrender to God, God will help you. Have you studied history? It's not always the case. I said, see, I never really liked school. I'm not like Sriji who likes school. You like school, or an answer like Madhva Muni would give? I personally could not find deep interest in school. But I was trained by my grandfather. He taught literature, he taught me many things. He was a giant in many ways. He was the best influence next to Prabhupada, whom I had. Prabhupada was my spiritual teacher, and I've learned most of what I know today from him. But I've learned my worldly knowledge from my grandfather, and I thought, perhaps he's right. Perhaps there will not be any answer when I call. Do some of you look at movies? No. I've learned this, when there's silence in the balcony, it means outside silence, but inside there's a big yes. So you need some Balkan countries. But there is one interesting movie that deals with this question. It is produced by Michael Scorsese. Is he Scorsese? Yes, so you look movies. By the way, I know how to get you and get the truth out of you. So this movie is called Silence, and it has a very interesting story. It is about a priest who goes to Japan. It's based on a true story, I hear. And he wants to spread the good word of Christianity. And he convinces some people who are following the Japanese religion. I think it's some Zen Buddhism or Shinto. No? The ancestors. And they become also priests. So after some time, the Shinto priests see that this is a threat. This new religion comes, they take our people and convert them into their people, and then people stop doing the Shinto religion and go to the Christian religion. And Shinto priests be highly upset, and they begin to follow those Japanese people who have become Christians, and they torture them, and they say, you just have to give up Jesus and return to your Shinto religion, and everything will be all right. But if you don't do it, we will torture you. So this priest, this Christian priest who has come from Rome, sees with his own eyes how so many of the people he made priests, these Japanese people, are really cruelly tortured to death. And he asks himself the question, if there is a God, and if we do things on behalf of God, and he is silent, is there really a God? He asked this question. It's a deep question, which I have heard even twice when I was here, this time in Slovenia. Devotees came to me and they said in confidence, Maharaj, I do not know how to understand this. I'm giving my life to, I'm trying to surrender to Krishna, but still so many unpredictable things have happened in my life which are not good. So is there really a merciful God who is answering our prayers? No? This is a very, very old question. I do not know if you have heard about the musical group The Doors. You have also there the poet Jim Morrison, the singer, he says, you cannot petition the Lord with prayers. He never answers. This is the idea which we often hear, and this fear to surrender to the Lord, to give our lives and do the next steps in our life for Krishna, which many of us experience. The seed of the fear, or the origin of the fear, is this doubt that, if I give my life to Krishna, if I give more to Krishna, then perhaps Krishna will not answer. There is one man who wanted to find out where is God. This is traditional Indian story. And he asked people, where do I find God? And the people said, up there somewhere. So this man went to the horizon and he climbed up the horizon. That's possible. And then he expected to find God. He went very high, higher than the Himalayan mountains even. He expected to find God. But all he found up there was silence. Silence. This question, when I surrender or when I give more to Krishna, will I also only meet silence or will I meet reciprocation, is answered in a wonderful way by Krishna himself. And I will tell you in a moment what Krishna says, how, what is the road, he speaks of a road that brings us to him. But I first wanted to give you a historical narration from medieval India of a king who first found the silence of God and then the answer of God. I'm speaking of the great king Jayamala. Jayamala lived in Rajasthan, and there were many small kingdoms just next to his own kingdom. And one of these smaller kingdoms, it was as big as his, was ruled by his brother, by Jayamala's brother. And Jayamala's brother thought, really our two kingdoms should be one kingdom, and my brother is not so qualified. I want to drive my brother out or kill him. So, but what is the best time for me to invade his kingdom? His ministers told him, why don't you go early in the morning and do your attack then? And they informed him that Jayamala had one practice. In the early morning hours, from 6 to 10 o'clock, not so early, 6 to 10, Jayamala would do worship of his deity. He had in his palace one temple. It was made from marble. It was pure white marble. You would enter there. There was a kirtan room and a lecture room, and then at the end there was an altar room. And every morning from 6 to 10, Jayamala would spend his time in the altar room. He would worship Krishna by first taking off the night garments. You know, it was a deity of Krishna. Then he would give the deity a beautiful bath. Then he would dry the deities. Then he would put perfume on his body. Then he would dress him. He would put a peacock feather on his head. He would then sing bhajans. Yes, he knew how to sing, Jayamala. No. At the end, he would put always 2 jeweled earrings, one on the right ear, one on the left ear of the deity. Then this took him about 4 hours. He was not Brezo-Plato, he was doing everything step by step, slowly. 4 hours of puja. So, and he had made one command. He had said, anyone who comes during this time, from 6 to 10, and disturbs my worship of Krishna, I will ignore him. If, however, he insists of disturbing me, I will have my guards throw him out of my kingdom. I don't want to see such a person. So during this time, everyone, including the mother of Jayamala, were highly afraid to disturb the king. So it was during this time that the attack by the neighboring country was happening. The king knew that the army of Jayamala, of the kingdom, would be like a fly without a head. That's a Bosnian expression for headless activity. The army, in other words, would be not able to function without Jayamala's command. So the attack came. It was a brutal attack. They just went through all the small towns. They burned the people in their houses, and they proceeded towards the capital city. Around 8 o'clock, they arrived before Jayamala's fortress. The ministers came to the queen's mother and said, can you go to your son, please, and tell him today puja's later? He has to come, and he has to lead our army into the battle. Otherwise, we will be overtaken and slaughtered by this brutal invader. The queen mother said, you go, he's a little temperamental. No, said, he will not listen to me, and I don't know. Once I came, and I said it's very urgent, and he just looked at me, and from his eyes 2 knives were flying. He doesn't want to be disturbed in his worship of Krishna. Okay, said the queen's mother, I go. And she went inside and knocked. No answer. Her son was singing, Devaki Nandana Gopala, Devaki. He was, so no answer. Then the queen opened very carefully the door. Son, there is an army before the gates of our fortress and our little town. You need to lead the army. Jayamala said, I told you, and I'm repeating now, I will not interrupt my worship of the deity. But then everyone will be slaughtered, said the queen's mother. If that is Krishna's will, then anyways everyone will be slaughtered. And at the time of death we all will be slaughtered. So, is this your last word? Said the mother. This is my last word, which I always will give. So the queen's mother closed the door and said to the minister, we are all lost. At this moment, something very mystical happened. It's in all the history books of the kingdom. It is told in all the villages from grandfather to grandchild. Jayamala had a horse which was so wild, which only he was able to ride it. It was very high, very strong, and had its own head. My God, this was a battle horse, which, I mean, they are something else, these battle horses. I have seen, not photos, but pictures of battle horses. They are much higher than normal horses and so strong and so wild. Only the warrior who knows them and whom they trust can ride them. So the Jayamala ran through his palace. He put on the armor. He went to his battle horse. He told the people in the barn, you know, where the horses were kept, to put the armor around the battle horse. He asked people to run to get his lance and his spear, and then he jumped, ran out. He asked the people at the door of the fortress to just open the door, and alone, without even gathering his armies, he just galloped with this terrible horse, with this huge horse, into battle, and he fought like the wind fights when it goes to the fields and just flattens all the grains and all the mice and so on, like a storm. He was there. He attacked his brother, and the brother was felled and wounded to the ground, and no one had ever seen any single person in the history of war and in the history of movies even, because you see this, fight like that. Single-handedly, he came back after the whole army finally was fleeing, the enemy's army was fleeing. He jumped off the battle horse, who was sweating. It was white, and it was very difficult to keep the battle horse in the barn. He would go against the walls, and almost he was so much in the mode of Rajagun, so much in so much energy, and the battle was over. At this moment, the door of the temple opened, and Jayadama ran out and asked, "Where is the horse? Where are my weapons? Where is the armies? I have to fight." It was 10 o'clock. The people looked at him and said, You came out, it was around 8 o'clock, and you were alone with your horse, fighting so fiercely, like a storm, so that you killed many of the enemies and the rest ran away. "No," said Jayadama, "I was doing my worship." "No, Jayamala, we saw you," said the minister. "You were running, you were demanding your weapons. The people at the gate said you came so fast, they just jumped away to not be run down by your horse. You were so wild, you screamed, 'Jai Shri Krishna,' and then you ran, you galloped into battle." "No," said Jayadama, "I'm here, I did my puja." Then he was thinking, I have surrendered to the Lord. Maybe He has protected me. So he went into the temple room and he looked at the deity. The deity looked at him, and one of the earrings was missing from the ear. Jayamala said, "Strange, I know I put one earring on the left ear, and I took a second earring, and I put it on the right ear, like I do every morning. But there is only one earring." So he searched. Then a little later, someone came and said, "Oh, king, we found an earring on the battlefield." "What? Show me the earring." And it was this very special earring which had rubies and smaragds and emeralds and, really good earring. Then Jayamala again went to the deity and said, tell me, did you make a trick? Did you come out and ride my battle horse? Did you take on the guide of Jayamala? So he ran back and to the battle horse, and he saw the battle horse was just... It was, have you seen horses after they have raced? It takes them half an hour to cool down, sometimes an hour, because they have given everything into the race. Sweat was there, white sweat all over, the eyes were rolling, and it was still just ready to go. And yes, the battle horse had been ridden. It was in battle. It was covered with blood, and so on. And Jayamala went back to the temple and said, my Lord, I'm worshipping you now since so many years, from 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock, and you have never ever shown your darshan to me. But you showed your darshan to my brother, who came to attack. You showed your darshan to the enemy soldiers. My Lord, you are not fair. If you don't help me now, I will kill myself. And he took out his knife, and he was ready to kill himself, when a black hand came, captured his hand and say, don't do it. He looked at the hand and he fell in ecstasy, because it was the hand of the Lord. Every grandfather knows this child. This knows his child, yes, but knows the story which he tells to his grandchild in this state of, how do you say, Rajasthan. It is a story which has found its entry into a very nice book. This book is called Bhaktamala, which has the experiences of the bhaktas, the great devotees of the Lord. It is recounted, and the writer, Nabadas, has written it because he saw there were quarrels between the different sampradayas or lineages of Vaishnavas. So he thought, by writing down the experiences of many devotees from many different lineages, different movements, no? And collecting them in one book, Bhaktamala, he would end the quarrel amongst Vaishnavas for theological differences. No, there's Bhaktamala. He's describing this in the book, that this is his mission. So yes, Krishna has his ways. He is describing in the 10th canto to the gopis that sometimes Krishna doesn't show himself immediately, just to make the longing or the desire in the devotee's heart to have his darshan stronger. And then, when the desire to have the Lord's presence becomes so, you could say, gets such a good temperature, such hot, such intense temperature, then this will burn away from the heart all the contaminations, all the inner obstacles, all the problems. Now you might say, okay, Maharaj, you have in the first part of your lecture said, spoken about the silence of God. You have said that this is a big question in the society. You have also said that many of the devotees in the movement for Krishna consciousness may not be sure that Krishna will be there when they surrender. And then in the end, you have given one historical story from the Bhaktamala, where you spoke about an incident, how Krishna breaks the silence. What would you like us to take home now? That we think God will not answer, or that God will answer? What is your thought? So I want to answer this question very much. My dear devotees, my dear friends, and my dear skeptics in the audience, I myself, this was and sometimes still is a central question of my own spiritual life. This question, is there anything we can do to make the sun rise? Or to speak in less poetic words, is there anything the human being can do to bring about a God realization, that God comes? I think the only one who can answer this question is Krishna himself. And yes, thing which he gave. It is the only verse which appears in the Bhagavatam 2 times. And you must know about sacred scriptures. They never repeat themselves. If it happens that they repeat themselves and that the same text appears 2 times, then this is one of the central messages of that sacred scripture. So there is this one verse, I want to read it to you. It is spoken by Krishna in a certain context. This is perhaps at this time a little controversial when we have so many divorces in ISKCON and in the world. But I think you're ready to hear it. You are mature enough. So it is about this. There was a village where highly qualified brahmanas worshipped the God according to very complex ritualistic ceremonies called yagyas. Now it so happened that their wives had heard about Krishna from the people who came to that village from the forests and the villages to sell the brahmanas clay pots and different leaves, mango leaves, and other items they needed for their sacrifice. So these wives had heard about Krishna. If you would be so kind to turn around and look at this picture, they had heard about Krishna's unique loveliness, who attracts all souls to him by his enchanting beauty and sweetness also. And they had heard about him, and in their hearts they developed love for Krishna. They had never seen him. It's a little bit like perhaps we here in this room. We all have heard about Krishna, maybe through literature. Maybe we saw a good movie about Krishna in the movie places where we don't know, are there movies about Krishna? Mahabharata, no? Mahabharata. I know everything. This is the theme song of a movie about where Krishna appears, and it always has this. It drives you crazy, but it is also very good. Mahabharat, Mahabharat. So So yeah. So there was. So just like you have heard Krishna, but perhaps not all of you have met Krishna or have had a revelation in their hearts. So these Brahmana wives were in the same category. They had heard regularly from the simple people who came and sold things in the village about Krishna, and they developed the desire to meet Krishna. So one day Krishna was nearby, he knew, and he said with a smile on his face, he said, I'm actually very hungry. So his cowherd boyfriends who were with him, Krishna is hungry, so let us get some food. So where will we get food? Krishna said, go to this village of the Brahmanas and get some food from there. So when the wives of the Brahmanas heard that Krishna was nearby, A, and B, that there was a chance to serve him by bringing him foodstuffs, they went quickly into their kitchens and took the foodstuffs, which was meant for the complicated yagya that was going on, and they put it on big plates like this. They put the plates on the head, and they rushed into the forest. When their husbands saw their wives making a big beeline, so to say, and going off into the forest, they said, where are you going? The wives looked at him. You can't stop us. You are wives, no? Where are you going with the food which is meant for the yagya, for the sacrifice? We're going to see Krishna. What? You're not meant to leave the house and go to another male person. This is very irreligious. You cannot stop us. And they just took them aside and went to the forest. Now, in the system of the society, if a housewife, a married wife, would leave the house to bring the food which was cooked, not to the husbands, but bring it to another man, that was a big problem. She was never allowed back in the house. Never, ever. Perhaps in the South European countries, similar rules are there. Imagine you come home, you're very hungry, the Mushkatsky is very hungry, and then the wife takes the food from the